Hello, everybody. This is Toonkind at 12 FPS. Welcome. I am Oatmeal. Today I will be playing the professor, and with me is.
Hi, I'm Fletch. I'm very excited to be here. This is we don't have plans, but it's probably gonna be fun. Uh, I'm going to be playing once again my horrible little 6-year-old detective Camille.
And today we start our story on a let's see, where do I put him? Um, I think on a street corner. There's a little space between two buildings on the corner, and first that space is empty. But then something starts to take shape there. Something about 8-ish feet tall, 3 by 3 feet in width, and red with frosted windows. It's a phone box. It's a bright red phone box, and it sort of appears a little bit, kind of translucent, and then disappears, and then appears more, and then disappears a little bit, and then appears again, until finally it solidifies completely with a thud. And um, uh, there is a moment of stillness, and then the door opens, and a man walks out, and just keeps walking down the street as if nothing happened.
Uh,
And this guy is very tall, at 6'3". He is wearing uh, a long white coat and a even longer multicolored scarf.
that's fun. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Camille is 2'8", so this is making a very fun mental image here. um, but
Oh, a
yeah,
street corner in Villestown, I should mention.
yeah. So yeah, that definitely piques a certain child detective's attention, because like you things have a habit out of for appearing out of nowhere in Einquell because toon gags and hammer spaces and all that. But this is a real kind man and a real kind box,
It
and
is indeed.
so what better way to spend an afternoon? It's uh, other than trying to figure out what this person's deal is, despite the fact that he's despite the fact that this person has done absolutely nothing besides walking around and appearing out of nowhere so far.
uh, I am going to roll survival to see how Professor does in this wild town which he's never been in. Um, okay, that's pretty good. Let's see. What is your uh bonus? Oh, okay. Roll zone. Okay, so he got a 15 on survival. So I think despite the very even compared to Toontown, the more abstract shapes and possibly weirder layout, he seems to be doing okay, which is uh, honestly might be in part because he doesn't really seem to be going anywhere in particular. Uh, he's just sort of wandering around. So hard to go wrong when you don't have a destination in mind.
Yeah,
Um,
just
but
seeing
yeah,
the sights, having a good time.
exactly. Yeah,
Hmm. I think
he doesn't look lost though. So I guess that's with a 15, he doesn't look like he's lost, even though he most definitely is.
he doesn't feel lost. This is like a manageable level.
Uh-huh.
um, I think my horrible little child wants to roll stealth.
Very good.
Uh, okay. I really do like the recurring theme of him being good at many things, but stealth is not one of them. That's a 10.
Oh boy, a 10. Oof. That's oh god. My passive is 13. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The professor knows that you uh are following him, I guess.
Uh,
Uh
yeah, you notice that you have a very small child on your tail. Uh, and like granted this is very much still a 6-year-old, like,
mhm.
but this kid is kind of pretty obviously following you and like watching you with his big ol' eyes.
In that case, well, and also he's a kid. So the professor just, I think, stops, turns on a dime, uh, and looks towards the kid and says, "Can I help you with something?" And he is smiling.
Camille is going to. What are you going to do, buddy? You didn't plan this far? Yeah. Uh, he did not plan this far. He's horrible. Uh, and he's just gonna look all the way up at you because he's tiny as peck,
Mm.
and he'll tilt his head to the side, and I will. I'm gonna roll deception at disadvantage because he's a little freaked. All right, I got a 5, and then I got a 5. So,
Wonderful.
uh, so you don't actually really get too coherent an answer. He kind of just awkwardly laughs and seems a little embarrassed he was caught.
Do you he just sort of tilts his head. Like, are you following me for a reason? Do you do you need help with something?
And uh, Camille has recovered at this point, and he kind of tilts his head back at you, like, uh, I was curious mostly.
Oh, yes? What about?
And he, how well are you pulling off this act today? Little, not very well, I think. uh, yeah, so uh, he's still a little bit frazzled, I guess, in terms of trying to act all innocent baby. So he's kind of just like, I saw you appear out of nothing. Are you magic? And though he says that, uh, it's very obvious this kid is digging for info.
Oh God. Um, uh, the professor just sort of like blinks owlishly, and he says, "Uh, well, Yes. I am. He just, like, is that unusual?
And uh Camille, uh he was holding her notebook before, and as he say that, he kind of crosses something out and shuts it and pockets it. uh, Cause that's
What?
a totally normal thing to do.
What?
And he shakes his head like, no, just curious.
Uh, all right. Surely you've seen, um, God, what is the spell called? I'm looking it up. No, not that one. Uh, Surely you've seen a teleportation spell in action before?
And you know what? Let's roll Arcana and see if he's still being bullied. Yes! He's not seen it before. No, wait, that's his. But it's even lower than that. Uh,
Oh boy.
yeah, he has not seen. He has not actually seen one in action, I guess. And he kind of just he shakes his head like, nope.
Oh, 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 well, that's what that was. It's just a spell that, moves somebody from one place to another. Or something.
All right.
In my case, I, started in Toontown, and now I'm here in Villestown.
Yeah, uh, he actually, as you explain the spell, he actually pulls out the notebook again and makes another quick note,
Oh my
before
god.
putting it away. He's he's fine. This is normal. It's a homework assignment.
Uh-huh. I'm fairly certain there's a teleportation station, in town somewhere. I just prefer to use my own device.
And
Have you seen the station?
I will say Camille probably has, 'cause he has gotten from Vealstown to Toontown before. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and um, he nods, and kind of just, he's like, yeah, but it seems to work pretty differently from yours.
Oh, well, certainly. It's a completely different, mechanism. Similar, spell, similar magic, different means. Um, they both involve, transportation circles, but, I don't, well, as I'm sure you know, that corner didn't have a transportation, circle, engraved in it. I can go just about almost anywhere I please, with my craft.
And Camille is. I'm I'm shaking this child. Can you stop taking notes in front of this man for 2 seconds? Uh, So he writes that down as well, and with a little nod, uh, cause like yes, this is interesting information that he wants to be able to revisit later on. Uh, and he is just like, that sounds really useful.
Oh, extremely, extremely useful. Extremely useful. Mostly I use it to travel, like today. You remind me of somebody. And he sort of uh gestures at Camille, taking taking notes. You remind me of somebody I met 50 years ago.
I slowly move my hand over to another tally and put it on there. This is what you get for being small. Um, and Camille, I mean, he's already looking up, so he kind of just, tilts his head like, I do?
Yes, yes, there was what was it? Professor Pete Moss, was her name. I met her at the Toontown Library, and, well, after she got over her, trepidation over my craft, she was quite interested in it, took many notes. As a matter of fact, uh, I had to, uh, ask her to censor some of her notes a little bit, only because, well, professor, if her notes got out somewhere public, that could be, uh, uh, it would be, it would, it would not be good for me. It's not exactly public knowledge, the, the science behind my craft.
He is interested in this a normal amount. uh, though also, you can roll insight or
Yes.
also investigation uh, if he's looking at Camille because shakes him.
hmm Well, I got a 3.
Uh,
So that's not gonna do me any favors.
okay, is that a 3 for the insight?
It's a 3 for insight, yes.
Yeah, he cares about this a normal amount. He's a normal amount of curious. Uh, but yeah, you
uh,
can also do investigation because
I will gladly.
yeah,
Okay, that's a 15. That's much better.
you actually just beat his DC. Um, so yeah, as you look over this child, you actually kind of I'm never quite sure how to describe it, but like you can actually kind of start picking out some discrepancies in his appearance, and
Mm,
you manage to see past the illusion this kid was keeping up on himself,
mhm,
and underneath it, you can see that uh, he's pretty obviously half toon. Like, he's
mhm,
no longer cell shaded. Like, he has a whole bunch of. His hair is way less blocky and more like actual hair, and
mhm,
just uh, he's become a lot less stylized than the illusion makes him appear to be.
mhm, mhm. Man, good gosh. The professor, not too long ago, absolutely would have said something, but for very important reasons, he is not about to ask somebody about their status as a half-toon, because that is apparently, um, as he has learned recently, it can be a very sensitive point with some people. Um,
Just a little.
yeah, Um, but oh God, is there? Let's see. I think he just sort of like looks around at how they are just kind of standing in the middle of the sidewalk talking to each other, and just sort of like uh just looks around a little bit, just sort of scans where they are, and says, "Do you want to find somewhere to sit down and chat?"
And Camille uh, takes a moment to think. He actually does a little scan of the crowd himself before going like before nodding, and because he's a normal amount of interested in this and would like to continue this conversation. uh, and so he. Oh no.
That's actually a survival. I wish it was something more useful, but I rolled a nat 20 in survival, so he found a place.
Can it be the painted lady?
Sure. Tell me about the painted lady.
All right. So, the Painted Lady is actually a cafe that kind of uh, that a lot of the aberration investigator crews tends to visit.
Hmm.
Camille also tends to visit because it's a nice little cafe. It serves good coffee, even if a certain barista will not give him coffee. Uh,
Mhm.
and so it's a nice, quiet little place. There's some nooks and crannies that are like set up for seating that's also like a little bit more private, so you can kind of have a conversation about important plot stuff about revealing to the entire cafe what's up.
Mhm.
Uh, dang. I look over in the nuts and bolts gallery. Camille is not getting coffee today.
Oh man. Um, so yeah, so they sorry, I zoned out a little bit. Where in this cafe do you think they would make themselves at home?
They're probably in a cozy little corner of it without too many people around. Uh,
Nice.
and yeah, there is a certain red-haired barista there who
Mhm.
Camille seems to be familiar with, and he kind of just scows as he gets a decaf coffee and some cake.
Mhm. Aw, that's nice. Yeah, the professor gets tea. Um,
Nice.
and he just sort of like uh smiles bemusedly at Camille and tilts his head a little bit and he says, um uh what does he say? You seem quite inquisitive.
I look over at his glass. He is a rogue in it, actually. And let's see. Oh, he's not getting any good rolls today. Uh, so that was a deception. Uh,
Huh?
and so he kind of just settles into his seat, smiles at you, and kind of just goes like, "Well, what 6-year-old isn't?"
Well, no, you're absolutely right about that. Um, uh, no, you're right, you're right. But, unusually so. Even for a 6-year-old.
And Camille kind of tilts his head at that before going with the 15 from earlier, which can be contested at any point if you like. Uh, he,
Oh, I got a crit one.
oh, yeah, this is a normal 6-year-old.
Oh no.
And well, in that case, I'll do another roll for funsies. Uh, that is I guess he's a little bit better this day. And he kind of just he tilts his head and gives another little smile like well, I am a detective.
And he sort of blinks. You are a detective who employs a 6-year-old as a detective, and he sort of trails off, and then he sort of uh and then he rubs at his forehead and he's like, right, tunes, right.
Well, he's half tuned. Oh,
Right, but like the point stands. He still doesn't know how tune like tune ages work weirdly and half tune ages probably work even weirder, so he's not about to.
oh, oh, Professor, I hold him. Uh, this will be yet another person Camille has gotten away with so much shit just by pretending it's a tune thing.
Uh-huh.
uh, but yeah, so um, Camille gives a little shrug, like, well, I guess I'm only an apprentice, but
Apprentice.
um,
Who are you studying under?
and let's see. So, and he kind of thinks for a moment let's before taking out a little business card and handing it over to the professor, like, with Moria.
Moria. Moria. Do I know a Oh! Moria. Now hang on. That does Moria. Why does that sound so familiar? Um, isn't that do you wouldn't happen to know anybody named you wouldn't happen to know a Detective Azumi, would you?
Uh, like, Camille's actually gonna roll an insight before he answers that. You disgusting little boy. He's mostly doing this to kind of see what the professor's intentions are here.
Mhm.
No, he's not protective. No, he's not paranoid. What are you talking about?
So let's see. You got a 24?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His intentions, I would say at this point, the professor is uh he is curious um about curious about Camille and kind of curious about Azumi. Um, he holds no ill will towards Azumi. In fact, there may have been a hint of um, uh, fondness in his voice, oddly. Um, uh, but
Well, that is good enough for him.
yeah,
Though if you want to, you can also roll insight against this horrible child, since
I
uh,
will try.
yeah.
Okay, I got uh where is your modifier? It is okay, that's still not great. I got an 8.
Fair. He's not trying. Well, more like you didn't think to try to hide it.
Mhm.
He does take a little bit longer to ask the question uh and is kind of staring at you a little bit, but uh
Mhm.
you know, it's fine.
Mhm.
And so yeah, do with that what you will. And then after a moment, he uh, let's see. Okay, well, why? It's a good roll, I guess. um, and after that, he gives you a big ol' smile and is like, "Oh yeah, I do. He's my big bro."
He's oh, yes? Well, now isn't that interesting? Huh.
Do you know him?
Uh sort of. We've met briefly. Um I can't say that I know him very well, but we're acquaintances. We exchange some useful information with each other, uh, mostly regarding some dangerous persons in Toontown. But yes. Well, I'm glad at least that I'm glad that you're associated with the likes of Detective Azumi and not those of uh I'm not sure if I should call them detective anymore, but mixed plant. Although I don't know if you would have heard of them, but oh, it hardly matters.
This is funny because uh, Camille was purposefully kept in the dark about all of that. Like everyone just decided, no, we cannot tell this 6-year-old anything because he would go try to do something, stupid, as he
Uh-huh.
usually does. And and so he tilts his head like, oh, did they do something?
Oh, did they do something? Um, well, uh, you feel free to roll insight. But
Okay.
he starts to explain. Um, well, Plant was working with an even more dangerous individual, and formerly Detective Plant caused. And he looks up again, and it's like, okay, right, this person is 12. So
It's
I'm not
actually
gonna word it. Or no, not 6. Yeah, no, 6. I don't know why I said 12. My
valid
mind. Okay, a
numbers.
15. A 15. This man is dumbing this down. Um, but also, um, uh, even if he like wasn't, uh, he um you can what you are able to figure out is that he's not just like dumbing it down because you're a kid, but also because like it's really freaking bad. Like even if he was talking to like you get the feeling that if he was talking to an adult, he would still dumb it down to a degree uh to make it seem a little less intense. But what he says is um oh, plants. Well, you're a detective. A plant caused one of uh, one of my acquaintances some um, deal of harm, uh, and was an accomplice in uh, kidnapping, among uh, other misdeeds. Not much of a detective, more of a criminal, really, now.
Uh, do you want to roll insight on Camille?
Yeah. I got a 14.
Okay, yeah, this kid kind of has a bit of an exasperated look on his face as you
Mm-hmm.
talk about this. Uh, he's he's not trying to hide it at all right now. He's he knows what you're doing and he's not a fan of it. But then tries tries to cover it up and give you a little a normal amount of curious look, but you can tell that he's still very he's just a little bit still frustrated.
hmm
um
The professor raises an eyebrow and gives him a sort of flat look and says, "Do you want me to tell you plainly what happened? Because it's a lot."
and uh Camille gives you a scarily sure grin that uh like yeah, I can handle it.
All right, dear. Well, I warned you. Um, Plant was transformed by some sort of necrotic amulet into what is, I think, something similar to a corpse plant. I don't know if you've heard of those. And he took my acquaintance and uh he tore her head off. She's fine now though. Thankfully, she is a toon, um, and a toon of a plush at that. That seemed to help. But yes, that is a thing that happened. In addition to aiding and abetting a murderous cannibal and kidnapper.
Okay. Let's
He
let's
just
try
sort of
to
looks
unpack all that.
expectantly, like, "Well, you asked for it."
Yeah, what I'm rolling isn't to see how well Camille deals with that because
Hmm
he's a homicide detective.
Yeah. Right.
So, hearing that stuff, like, yeah, sure.
Pretty, yeah, pretty standard.
All right. Cool. That was disadvantage. Okay. Hi, dog. He's uh he actually if anything, seems a little bit angry, like
Mhm.
at that turn of events.
Mhm.
Sort of frustrated. As he kind of just like, uh, did they get the person responsible?
Oh, yes. No, we yes, no, we caught him. He's in custody now.
And he relaxes at that, and he's out.
That was an insight.
Yeah, okay. Well, with an 18, um, yeah, this kid is genuinely pretty unfazed to hear all of that. His concern was pretty much like lied mostly with did the person get caught and face
Mm.
justice? Like that's his main point of concern, and now that that's been addressed, uh he can just put that away.
Mhm.
Uh Murder, beheading, that
Mm.
doesn't. Uh
Oh, oh,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah, there is also a little bit of frustration that sort of accompanies like hearing something bad and not being able to do anything about it. But that
Mhm.
also, it, it's still there a little bit, but it does drain once he hears that. Yeah, the person was caught. So
Mhm.
he's just gonna take a sip of his decaf coffee and do a little grimace at it.
Mhm. Yeah, the professor nods and says, "Yes, Azumi helped us to figure out the details and ultimately to prevent more damage from occurring." But
Camille, oh, you go.
no, no, yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah. Camille kind of sits back in his seat. Uh, he he actually is probably small enough that he falls for a little bit longer than expected and like ends up leaning way back, so he aborts that action. Uh, and he was trying to be all casual about this, but it backfired. He's very small. Uh,
Mhm.
and so brushing past that, he's just like, well, I'm glad to hear that Izumi helped.
Mhm.
And I'm I'm gonna roll something because he does not yet realize that they haven't introduced each other this whole time.
Oh my god. uh, I kind of want to roll to see if the professor realizes.
Alright, do it.
Um, okay, he has realized.
Okay.
Um, he says, he started to like pause and seem to be thinking about something, but then he says, "Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I'm the professor, by the way." And he holds his hand out to shake.
uh, Kale, he looks at you, tilts his head like he's expecting something a little bit more there, and is like, Professor of what?
Just the professor. He seems very confident, very secure in this fact. Like that is the truth. That's really it. He's not like hiding a name or anything. He's just the professor.
Kale kind of takes that, pauses for a moment, and then is like, you know what? Einquell's already so weird. We don't have time to unpack. This might as well just happen. And And he goes to take the professor's hand, like, Camille Christie, detective.
Camille, nice to meet you. And I'm gonna roll some things. Okay, let's see. What did I set my thing to? Um, okay, we do indeed have an effect.
Oh
And
boy.
18, 19? 19!
Oh
Oh,
boy.
okay, so, I rolled to see if he can tune in to his special effect, and he can. I got a 16, that just needed to beat a 10. Uh, and then I rolled to see what his perception would be, to see how much he would be able to tell. Uh, and he got a 19.
Oh boy.
So a 19 in perception for his special little true sight trick.
uh,
Uh, does he see anything odd about this kid?
okay. Um, so I think it was the thing I'm thinking of, I think we decided he couldn't see because it's not magical, but if you want to,
Mhm.
I will go with whatever your ruling on this is.
Uh, yeah, it's let me just go over something invisible, visual illusion, uh, perceive the original form of a shape changer or a creature that is transformed by magic. So, unless he's a shape changer, uh, that has a original form that's not this, um, then yeah, if it's magic, yeah, or if it's not magic, then it doesn't work. Um, and I don't think there's anything funky about his presence on the ethereal plane that he'd be able to pick up either.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's changed shape once.
Well, most people do,
Yeah.
to be fair. It just takes a very long time.
True. Uh,
um, so it's entirely possible that he looks completely normal.
it is. Sits here. I will say that, yeah, you do completely see past the, you completely see past the illusion,
Mm,
to, let's, actually, let me take a look at his, okay. Yeah, you do completely see past the illusion, like, very obviously half toon and
mhm.
half human. Uh, you can, Iki, beloved, please, I'm trying to uh, hmm. I'm just gonna roll a d2 and see what's up. Because
Mhm,
it's not magic, but
mhm,
okay. Hmm. Okay, I guess it's normal for now. Yeah,
mhm,
you see past the illusion. This is a 6-year-old child.
mhm.
Uh, and let's, yeah, I pat Mercy. Uh, yeah, this is a 6-year-old child.
Mm,
You can He is actually not wearing a turtleneck today, so you can actually see the with a 19, you can actually kind of see the outline of a sort of scar-like mark on his neck. You can also
mm.
absolutely tell that his glasses are fake.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I
Nice.
shake this child around.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, that's what you see. I'm sure this is gonna be fun for people listening to the recording later.
Oh boy. Um, uh, let's see. Is that uh hmm, nope, that's nothing. Um, yeah. Well, they've introduced each other. He takes his hand back and says, uh, let me think. He says, Camille, um, do you know anything about the nature of the rift between uh reelkind and toonkind in this continent? Because I'm new here and I don't know.
And okay, Camille's gonna insight on you because that is a change of subject, and
He,
also, uh, okay.
ooh, 18. Okay, yeah. He you um uh you are able to tell he was thinking about this before you two introduced each other and shook hands. On the other hand, you can also tell that something just happened. Definitely something just happened when you two shook hands. He like looked at you differently. Um you're not sure if it was uh like was it a spell or something or some sort of uh well, I mean, I think you're a detective. It probably wouldn't be odd to rule out a weird sort of sense if it's because it didn't look like he was casting a spell. No, he didn't say anything or do any weird hand movements or anything, but something just happened and he'd learned something um that uh made him less hesitant to ask this question. On the other hand, this is a genuine question that he is asking because he does not know. He is uh even just like his wording, like the rift between them, like he genuinely has no idea what occurred, what the situation is, what the situation has been, and like he has no context. Why he decided to ask a 6-year-old? Who knows? On the other hand, you did take that crime summary very well.
True. This 6-year-old son, it's a tune thing. But yeah, Camille kind of squints and like pulls back from you. He seems a little bit more on guard now. Uh,
Hmm.
and he kind of takes a moment. Let, let's see. Oh, buddy. has been bullied on the deception rolls today. And he he's very obviously trying to pick his words carefully here. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it does seem like his act has almost completely changed for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
As he kind of just stares at you like I'll tell you if you tell me what you just saw.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh boy. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, what is your okay, he got a deception of 10, but against you, I don't think that's gonna cut it.
Unfortunately, Inquisitive Rogue guarantees a minimum of with his modifier, it's a minimum of 18 if he's picking out a lie.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay, you absolutely, yeah, no, and even just with a yeah, uh, he tries to hide his reaction, but doesn't do a very good job of it, but he is, uh, like, uh, visibly surprised, uh, um, that you picked up on that. Uh,
I am so sorry he was made to see.
yeah, yeah. Um, he seems a little, he kind of gets over his shock in a second and uh looks kind of impressed. Um and he um uh he nods his head slowly. Well, for a moment there, I and he looks around uh the painted lady it's called, right?
Yeah.
He looks around and um chooses his words carefully. He says, I saw through the slight illusion you have on your appearance. Um, and uh, he uh, um, he uh, he points at his own um, chest and sort of makes a motion to indicate the shape of um, the scar that he saw on his own chest and says, and I saw that.
Camille does. Actually, you know what? Let's roll for fancies. Okay. Okay.
And he adds, he says, just for a moment, it's a touch activated sense.
Yeah. He. That was a whiz save. He's.
Hmm.
Boy. So yeah, he kind of flinches at that and goes up to touch the brim of his cap. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and he's. The other hand does kind of look like it's about to go to the scar area before he puts it down on the table very
Mm-hmm.
purposefully. Uh, and
Yeah.
he does seem a little freaked out because, like, so it's, some sort of special thing.
Well, yes, it's something that well, I mean, there are other sorts of beings that have something similar, but it's usually rather more obvious or more powerful. It's a very diluted form of true sense if you've no, true sight if you've heard of it. It's inherent to my race. And unspoken is that is yeah, as much as he looks human, he's not.
Oh boy. I look at you screaming in the gallery and smile evilly. Uh, yeah, let's do the whiz save again.
Oh
Oh,
no.
okay. Runaway dice. Uh, yeah, that's even worse than before because I still need to grab it. Yeah, he's not doing so hot. um, he kind of clenches his hands a little bit and takes a little shaky breath to calm himself down.
Hmm.
And let's, you get like, yeah, that's what I thought. Um, why don't you do some insight on him? Cause he's trying to hide
Yeah.
something, but he's not doing very good right now.
Yeah. I got a 13.
Meets it, beats it. Uh,
Well.
he seems to be a combination of relieved and upset. It's a funny little combination. As he
Mm.
kind of just tries to and fails to casually ask, like, and that's all you saw?
The professor had uh, he had started to he had dipped his head and like uh looked uh regretful and apologetic, but when he says that, he looks up again and just sort of uh furrows his brows and says, "Yes, that's all I saw." He looks a little confused.
Oh, well, and he's trying to recover from that. Uh,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's not something I can turn off.
it's fine. Uh, People see through this, and he taps his hat. Uh, all the time. Usually they're usually pretty polite about it.
Uh, I didn't and he sort of it looks like he realizes something. He says, I didn't mean to ask that question to offend you. I only thought I figured you might know out of anyone."
And he kind of nods at that, like, well, it's a fair question. You'd assume a half toon pretending to be full toon would, well, you'd assume that the reasons would be along the lines of what you're looking into.
That's 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 why the three other half-toons I know, yes, would uh hide their nature. Yes, that's.
Alright.
Are there not? Are there other reasons? And he's looking like slightly curious, but also like he knows he's crossing a line. Like
uh, I'm giving him disadvantage on this because he's still kind of shaken.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. And he's just like, well, yeah, it's similar. I don't really have other reasons. He says completely unconvincingly.
Yeah, he just shakes his head like that doesn't follow. But also, that was an intrusive question, so he's not gonna I don't think he's gonna ask again.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
like, it is very clear that he does not believe you.
yeah, you can roll
Um,
insight if you want to.
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Ah, he's 6.
Oh, I look away politely.
Um, but, yeah, he just sort of, he puts a hand up and sort of, uh, looks down and shakes his head and says, like, "Well, never mind. I have a feeling that real kind are on the wrong side of, whatever the situation is anyway, so I won't, I don't think it's my place to pry."
And Camille, he actually looks a little bit confused at that. I will sneakily slide under the table to you that since since this kid has done so bad on his saves, yeah, the being found out for being half-toon thing is not what is giving him so much trouble right now.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
there's, but yeah, he's, so the professor can absolutely tell that, but he's uh a little bit confused and kind of tilts his head like, well, I mean, I'm half real kind, so I would be a little hypocritical if I were to just distrust every real kind person.
Well, he just shrugs.
And Camille kind of shrugs back, like, I mean, Maria and Izumi are also both real kind. Uh, so,
Hmm.
so it's fine. I'll uh me the me the player trying to figure out what Camille knows
Uh,
about this subject, because uh
yeah, it's okay if, like, either he doesn't or if he does but you don't, like, we can just sort of go past it if you want. Uh,
yeah, I'll roll history
Yeah,
That's
because I could tell you, because the player, know what the professor does not know. Uh,
yeah. So we can do the fun little dance because he did get a 19 on that.
oh my. Okay. Well, are you okay with spoilers?
Yeah, hit me.
For very old games. Okay. Uh, long story short, there's been a bit of a long-term weirdness between reelkind and toonkind on account of uh toons being kind of looked down upon, and reelkind, often spelled real, implying that they're more real and more legitimate than toons, and such and so on. But it came to a head uh 2-ish years ago with the taffy train incident, because there were a mix of reelkind and toonkind people on it, and the reelkind guest um, murdered one of the toonkind. In fact, arguably one of the most toonish toonkind you can be, a UPAN, murdered and uh, consumed his remains. And of course, everyone was very, very angry about that. And also, the train exploded,
Mm.
uh, and everything went to peck after that. Um,
Yeah, that is fair.
yeah, so there was a very big amount of distrust, rightfully so, of reelkind um, after that, and uh, yeah.
Yeah. So Camille probably does give the professor the information you just gave me. Uh
Huh?
yeah, and he never mind the fact that he would have been 4 during that and talks.
Mhm.
Actually, let's roll to see how poorly this kid messes up. Oh, okay. Okay. So there are a few slips where he talks about it almost as if he had heard
More,
about it as it happened.
yeah, uh-huh.
Uh, but it's but for the most part, because it is still 17, those are kind of few and far between during this
Hmm.
tale. Uh, and
Yeah.
so at the end of it, he kind of just does a little shrug, like, so that since it was kind of such a big case, it did bring some things to a head. Uh,
Uh, yeah. The professor is just uh God. I'm gonna ask you to roll insight.
okay.
In the
Oh,
meanwhile,
oh no.
uh
Oh, I'm so sorry to the professor.
oh my
Oh
goodness.
god.
Just
That
as well, because the professor rolled an 8 uh in deception, but God. Um yeah, no, that's just blasted out of the water.
Camille getting a nat 20 with his plus 10 modifier, taking a sledgehammer to the professor's lie.
Yeah. Um he looks distraught. He looks um just like uh absolutely torn. Like he did not know, he did not realize it was this bad. He just had no idea, uh and like new as he may be, you can imagine, like, he's probably had some conversations that look a little different under this new light. Um, and like he's just sort of like leaning forward on, oh my god, my things are just falling
Oh
all over
no.
the place. He's just sort of like leaning forward on the table with his head in his hands, just like that. I had no idea it was that awful.
And
Um,
Camille's kind of looking at the professor a little bit sympathetically.
that's
And
disgusting. Oh gosh. Well, no wonder no wonder they didn't want anyone to know.
Camille's gonna lean way over the table and give the professor a little pat. 'Cause like, like, yeah, it was pretty ugly. Uh,
Oh
I'm
man.
admittedly a little bit more familiar with things outside of the outside of Einquell, but um, I yeah, he's not very good at the comfort part, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he's just sort of like he's just like rubbing his hands over his eyes, just like I didn't even know about the build up, the background stuff before. I'm not even from Faruma. I didn't I didn't know Toons existed before some 6 months ago. Oh goodness.
I don't think anyone can blame you for not knowing.
No, 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 but it oh, I wish I had known. I wouldn't have seemed so.
And Camille gives you another little pat with a sort of humorless chuckle, like, well, I always wish we knew things back when it could have helped.
Oh boy.
And he's gonna go past that, like, so you just have to make the best of the information now.
The professor looks up and he says like, I swear you talk like you're 20 or something. Just
Alright, uh, Camille gives a little laugh at that, 'cause, like, well, I get that a lot.
hmm. You know, there's a lot of appeal in being a mature kid, but don't lean into it too much. It can move you to mature more than you have to. It's nice to allow yourself to be a child while you can. It's a pity when um, children are forced to grow up too quickly.
Man.
So,
Alright, you get it. Yeah, okay. He rolled a 6 and then he rolled a 3.
what for?
Uh, what else other than the deception modifier he's been shaking around like a stick?
Oh man.
And he gives another uh little laugh though. This one is seems slightly more sarcastic than before. Uh and he's just like, "Oh, you have a point there."
Oh, I have a point. I've known too many kids who had to grow up too quickly. Some of them my own.
And uh eager to change the topic. uh
Hmm.
Camille kind of just tilts his head like, "You have kids?"
Hmm. Kids and grandkids. And I'll ask you to either roll perception or insight or investigation. I don't know, one of those.
All three of those are plus 10.
Incredible. Just roll, I guess.
Okay. Okay, so that was a rogues man.
Yeah, there's like no way that this guy, like, for as much as he has like kind of uh elasticy kind of like uh kind of skin that gives him sort of a uh more wrinkled look, like there is no way that this guy is older than 50. Uh Grandkids is kind of stretching it.
And yeah, Camille's just gonna file that away. Uh, as he's uh
Ow.
uh
Sorry, I poked myself.
oh no, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Yeah, and Camille's just gonna file that away, and he is going to yeah, and he's gonna go um grandkids? Are they young?
No, no, the youngest is, um, I guess she would be, oh, she'd be, um, now I have to roll something else.
Oh boy.
Um, oh no.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no.
um, so he rolled, uh, he rolled a 6, and I'll tell you what in a second.
Oh no.
Uh, he starts to say, she would be, she would, how, and uh, he looks like, confused for a second, and then, his hand goes to his, forehead quickly, and he, winces, because that was a con save.
Oh
Um,
no.
and he shakes his head and says, um, "Oh no, I left her in the 51st century, so uh oh, she's probably um how long has it been? How long has it been? And uh he he shakes his head very slowly and he says, a few hundred years now?
Ariel's kind of just staring at you. uh, and he's just like, what? He's okay. Come on, buddy. You can do this. Uh, he's he takes a moment or like a minute to kind of recover, like 100 years.
It would have to be. It was about, 400? No, 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 no. Let's see, it was some, 500 years ago? 500 years ago. About 500 years ago that we parted ways.
Uh, this kid's kind of just sitting here. Just like, is, yeah, the professor is literally older than the erasure.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
he is. Um, he manages to completely shake off whatever weirdness had kind of uh overtaken his brain and just says, yes, I'm part of a rather long-lived species.
and
um we're not native to this, well, we don't exist naturally in this world.
that does make Camille seem to accept it a little bit easier. Uh, and he's kind of just like, well, that does explain the box.
Yes, that's, well, yes, she's not she's not native to this planet either.
And Camille kind of just nods at that. Uh, and he's he's kind of just having a time right now. Uh, I imagine the 51st century is probably the future. Uh, and he's kind of just like, he's just sitting here, man.
uh,
That
man.
would be hilarious. Just while Camille's processing this, a particular red-headed barista comes in and refills their drinks and leaves.
That's great. That's perfect timing.
Uh, and yeah, he takes a moment and is just like, well, okay, okay, yeah, all right. And he's just a little guy. He's just a little birthday boy. Uh, and you're like, uh, on top of being from not around here, you wouldn't happen to be a... And he he looks almost pained to say it.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't happen to be a time traveler, would you? He's he's
Oh
just sitting
dear.
here.
Oh God. Oh no. Okay.
Oh no.
Professor, for his deception, uh, he, what is your modifier again? Yeah, I thought so. Um, he got a 7. So, uh, he like tries for a second to keep a straight face. Um, and then realize that that is the wrong tack because that is something that is a question he should be surprised by. And instead he just shakes his head and kind of like drags a hand down his face and says, "Well, yes."
Camille just sighs and puts his head in his hands. And you want to roll perception?
Yes. Please, Professor, roll better. Oh, okay. Uh 22.
Okay, yeah, with a 22, you can absolutely hear a pained mumble like, "Oh, I totally owe him 10 gold now."
What? I think the professor hears this and he just starts laughing. Who did you bet? Who did you bet that you how what? Did you bet somebody that you would meet a time traveler?
No, I said that. It.
Oh no, surely
I.
you didn't say that time travel didn't exist.
He looks away.
Oh, my dear. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, but it has existed for far longer than that I'm sure you would appreciate.
And he kind of just sighs, like, I was. I was young and stupid, okay?
Was young. You're 6.
Younger.
uh
It's fine. It's fine. He's fine. I'm shaking this boy. You you have officially rattled him enough to, uh, and he's just like, yeah, it's okay. Okay. Yeah, I just yep, okay.
uh, I'm only surprised, having been here now, I'm only surprised that it wasn't a Toon that invented it first.
You'd think so.
You would. Uh, oh, you would, you would, you would, you would. You would if you weren't descended from the very idiots who invented it in the first place. Ah,
Yeah.
but that is neither here nor there. What kind of cases do you work on as a detective?
Uh, okay, that's
Although we should probably be wrapping up.
yeah, probably. But I'm so glad that this time it was Camille who got bullied. He kind of just waves a hand, like, oh, you know, stuff.
I don't know how to roll. Professor! You got a 5.
I look away. He's not said anything convincing. I'm just gonna look away and say that you passed it. Yeah, this kid is totally sus.
Mhm.
uh, very much lying
Uh,
out of his teeth.
are we talking civil cases? Thievery? Or something a little more involved?
Uh,
White collar crime? Red-handed crime?
well, I do chase a phantom thief, but for the most part, um, homicide detective.
The professor puts his head in his hands again. Please, please, please tell me that, please tell me that your heritage means that you are actually older than 6, because that's, uh, because if not, I'm gonna have to have words with somebody, probably Izumi or Moria, because that's inexcusable.
uh, okay.
Please tell me this is a Toon Age thing.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Between a 10 and a 16, we did in the 10. And he's just like, oh, no, I'm actually 6. Uh, this,
Tars.
uh, well, they just tend to happen.
They just tend to happen. I'm gonna have words for Izumi. I'm gonna have words for Izumi, and I'm going to get Moria's number, and then I'm going to have words for Moria. Ugh. And here I am going on about not growing up too fast, and you were a homicide detective.
Well,
Kid,
I'm.
what are you doing?
He kind of laughs awkwardly, like, well, I was, kind of a homicide detective before I met them. Like I said, they tend
Who
to just
allowed
happen.
that? No! No! Things happen. No! They. He's just like. He looks distraught. That's not.
It's your turn for a crisis. Uh, he just gives a shrug. uh, he's genuinely not lying about this. Like, you can tell that wholeheartedly this just happened. He thinks at least that this just happens around him.
Uh, who who are your guardians? How do you how how do you keep ending up in these situations that you feel that you have to help solve as well?
And Camille kind of just shrugs, like, well, usually I get in because I'm a witness, so they can't exactly kick me out. Uh,
And then you solve it.
I
You,
mean,
why are you witnessing so many homicides?
he gives you another shrug. like, like I said, they just happen.
I look for trouble and I don't see homicides on that with that frequency. 6 years, 6 years, and you're a homicide detective. Th- He just looks absolutely baffled.
Kale is just gonna take a sip of his coffee and, you know, and look away. He's he does not know how to do. It just happens, man. It is unfortunately still decaf. Uh, and he kind of just, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, man. Well, you want to roll insight real quick?
Sure. That's a 4.
Oh
But he
no.
has a +10.
All right. Yeah. The professor is not letting this go, and he has stopped talking about it, but he is not letting this go, and he is going to do something about it. He has decided he's going to do something about it. What, you don't know. How, you're not sure. But apparently this man has decided that this is not allowed.
uh, and Camille's kind of just like, no, he notices that, and he kind of just, uh, waves his hands in like a no, wait gesture, like, no, really, really, it's really not. Don't get mad at Mori and Azumi. They are as concerned about it as first. Uh,
At first.
well, it's better to have supervision on than
But
than
not.
and he kind of just he's trying very hard to make sure that the professor doesn't try and fight those two.
Hmm.
Uh, and
Yeah, he says, "All right, I don't. All right, if you say not to blame them, I won't blame them. I will have some questions for them, but
Camille, uh,
that's not why you were following me, was it? You didn't think I was a you didn't think I was going to commit a homicide, did you?"
uh, Camille actually, he just genuinely starts laughing at that. Like, and he's like, oh, no, 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 I really was just curious. I'm,
About the box.
yeah, about the box. I really did just want to see if it was magic or not.
Well, it is. Well, that's good to hear. Oh,
And you can roll insight on Camille if you want to.
yeah. Oh my God. 3.
Oh, yeah. I've had use
That's
the
that's
rolls in
nothing.
this.
Oh
um,
man.
but yeah, well, that's fine. He's he's just curious about whether or not things are magic. I mean, usually the answer is yes, but you know, kids. Uh,
Oh gosh.
and he he
Um,
just gives a little shrug, like, yeah, you don't exactly seem like the type to murder a random person, but well,
well, I should hope not.
and it's like, yeah, usually they have some sort of tell.
He looks curious. Yes.
Camille does not elaborate.
For example.
And he's like, ah, well, okay, and his yeah, he's gonna give a little shrug, like, well, usually there's a it depends on the person and the reason why they're doing it. Like a person who's usually a good person but was kind of driven to do it, they tend to have some level of guilt beforehand. Uh, and it's a lot harder to tell when someone's genuinely bad and they're about to kill someone, but usually you can tell that they're bad. And he does go into a little ramble, uh, and yeah.
And I think it would be funny if we said that they continued to just sort of have small talk about crime
Yeah,
until until they parted until they part ways eventually.
absolutely. And as they're parting ways, just for extra funny, because he who crime magnet, uh, like Camille seems to pick up on something as he's waving to you, and he just neumes away like a dog you got a scent.
Oh my gosh. The professor just shakes his head.
Kids.
Kids these days. Oh gosh. Okay, that was really fun.
Yeah, that was very fun. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
I know I did.
Yes, I did. Thank you. All right. Thank you, our audience, present and future, for joining us. And that's the end of the SBS. I will be stopping the recording in just a second. So
Yeah,
bye.
bye.